And we're back. It's the Diaz Show, live at the Laborliss release party. Down here in good old Tempe, Arizona. That's, what is it, Studio 5C? Is that what this place is?
Studio 5. The
Studio-
Terrace at Studio 5.
The Terrace at Studio
Live in
5C.
downtown Tempe from Studio 5C.
Indeed, I, of course, am your host, Diaz. We've got Mr. Cake over here.
Yes, sir.
We've got Mr. Shampoo Master.
Hello, hello.
And joining us now, the lovely Brandon Mullan's just magically turned into Ryan Gomont.
Hey,
Welcome to the party, sir. You're going to want to get right up on that
I'm
microphone.
right there, man. I'm right up on
Make
it.
out with that
First
thing, you know?
date.
I love it. I'm right
First
up on
date,
it.
or as the famous Uncle Thirst used to say, that first time in prison.
Oh, either one. They're both magical and they're both memorable.
Yeah,
You
who you
remember
talking
both of those really well.
Indeed, indeed. So,
And they
sir,
both hurt a bit.
so I heard a rumor.
What?
I heard a rumor that you might have done a little bit of writing for the infamous Laborliss Magazine.
Yeah, I was brave enough to step up to the challenge to write for such a creative project.
Indeed, that's quite awesome. So where exactly did you kind of come into the fold here?
Well, oh, nice. Got some cans here. Well,
Oh,
Put them cans on. He's got the jargon.
I got the
jargon.
cans on. Now I'm official.
at
This
this
is
guy.
this is real now, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I once was at Brandon's old studio apartment. I think it was like the first time I was ever at that little place, and we're watching fuzzy HBO. And I saw this newsletter thing sitting on like a table, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? And I look at it, and he's like, oh, it's some newsletter I put out once. And I was like, that's crazy. That's weird. And I looked at it, I was like, that's a really good idea. Like, you should do this. And then he did it.
What was it about it that just kind of like caught you and
just-
decided that you wanted to go with that?
Well, it just seemed like such a crazy idea, and like nobody else is doing that, especially now. Like nobody's
Yeah.
doing that. Like so, it was like, whoa, this is really interesting, and you just like put them out on the street for just anybody to pick up. Like, all right, that sounds crazy.
It's such
You
an
know?
amazing concept. I mean,
Crazy enough
like-
to work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's something that kind of happens in the podcasting world as well. It's like you take what you love doing, but you realize that when you put this thing out on the street, nobody's going to pay for it at first. You've literally got to throw it out for free. And that's so twisted from any other aspect of I think,
Business.
really entertainment or business in general.
Yeah.
You know? So that being said, what were the biggest contributions that you think you made to Laborliss?
I mean, Brandon was like he's everything about it.
He's the godfather of
I-
Laborliss Magazine.
Yeah, I mean, I did writing when I could for him, and it was really nice, especially for a writer, just to step in and be like, oh, look we have these characters, and I just have to write for these people now. So it's like I didn't have to think of it; I just had to like go with it.
So you were a writer prior to joining up with Brandon.
Yeah.
Did you write your own stuff, write for
Yeah.
a blog, or just...
I have a sketch comedy troupe that I'm part of, that I've been writing for a long time.
What is it?
Bully Mammoth.
Oh,
Woolly Mammoth. Okay,
What, you guys heard of
got
them?
a
I think I happened to. Excuse me. I think I happened to work with one of the members there.
Oh, who's that?
A lovely gentleman who looks like the Lorax named Tim.
Yeah, I was about
Tagmeyer.
to say, is it Tim Tagmeyer? 'Cause
That is Tim
everybody
Tagmeyer.
knows Tim Tagmeyer. Just like yesterday, Tim Tagmeyer was telling me some anecdote about like his girlfriend always gets mad because people will come up to him and be like, oh, hey, Tim, what's up? And Tim will be like, oh, hey, man, how you doing? Everything's great. How are you? And like, oh, yeah, great. And then they'll walk away and she'll be like,
Who the
why,
fuck is
why
that?"
didn't you introduce me to him? He's like, because I didn't know who he was.
Amen. That happens all too often.
I
It's
wish.
a Tim Tagmeyer original. I just said it for him.
Indeed, it is. Am I the only one that thinks that he looks conspicuously like the Lorax?
He's got the stash.
That is quite the hipster stash he's got there.
You know what? I think hipster isn't a good enough word. I think that's actually like a negative thing for him. I mean, he's
Really?
original. He's original. He's him.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Fair
No matter
enough.
like if whatever was hip, it doesn't matter. He's being him.
So I do see here on our little cheat sheet.
on the prep sheet, the official
You're
prep
the
sheet.
leader of Bully Mammoth.
Yeah, I mean, sort of. I do a lot of the managing of it.
Now is that just you being humble, or are you really the
Well,
leader?
I started it with my friend Ricky Brindley, who's still part of it, of course. He writes for it and acts in it too.
No, was that something that you just... A lot of good ideas come from those drunken, maybe high moments in life. I mean,
Yay!
was this something
we're gonna have a couple of good
Ayo.
moments coming here tonight.
Yeah.
So was this something you guys in your living room, started joking around, and say, we can actually make this into some sort of production that people are going to come see?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, people coming to see it, that's the biggest challenge. But
Where do you guys do it?
We do it at Tempe Center for the Arts. Beautiful in their studio. It's like we did our first show there in like July of like 10, and we called it Live at Carnegie Hall because it's what it felt like. It felt like we were at Carnegie Hall.
Absolutely.
So you guys have been cultivating that for a little bit.
A lot of it, me and Ricky did, comes from. We talked earlier, Cake, that we went to high school at the same time in the same high school.
We did.
I don't know if you remember.
Go Mustangs!
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. I really wasn't rah-rah.
Go Pioneers.
was I.
I was on speech and debate.
I was the first person out of my graduation.
Oh, yeah?
I was the first person out of the parking lot.
Oh, nice.
Threw the hat up.
So you didn't
Me
have
and
any
my
friends or
friend
family
left.
there to watch you?
Oh, no, I
to see
did.
you?
I ignored everybody.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
Just
wanted to
rolled out.
I wanted to get the hell out of there and go grab some cigars.
Yeah.
And have my 21-year-old friend grab beverages
Yeah, exactly. I wish I had those friends
At
when I
18.
graduated.
at 18.
But but a lot of what we did came from, I don't know if you remember, we had that sketch show at Dobson Friday Night Live that we would do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I directed that
Holy
for
hell.
a year. I was
It's
part of that.
Friday Night Live.
Yeah, it sounds lame, but it was wonderful. That made high school for me.
No,
and,
yeah,
and
no.
Ricky was in it too. And I mean, after high school, it was one of those things where like, oh, I want to keep doing this. I like producing my own things. We like doing sketch, and it was so much fun. So we kept doing it, and yeah, we're still doing it.
No, that's completely awesome.
Literally, like 10 years later, I'm still
Now,
doing it. It's
do you guys,
weird.
how often do you guys do it?
Well, we did perform monthly last year, but this year we've just been doing once every other month at Tempe Center for the Arts.
Okay,
at
right
this
on,
point.
right on.
At this point, but I mean, things pop up all the time.
Do you have any upcoming events that you want to plug?
December 7th at Tempe Center for the Arts, Friday night, 8 o'clock. Our Christmas show is gonna be fantastic.
How much?
It's $10 admission. If you're a student, it's $8.
Okay.
Cheap stuff. There's a
Ooh.
bar there.
Ooh,
and it's
really?
I
There you
mean,
go,
it's
you got-
if
you
you've
got
never
us
been
there.
to Tempe Center
How
for the
is-
Arts, it's really nice. There's like a big parking lot. You just drive up, you walk in. There's no, you don't pay. I mean, you just pay at the door. You get in, and then you
Nice.
drink. You know, drink before, drink during.
What are the prices of the beers?
I don't know. I'm not out there. I mean, it's a bar, so I mean.
You should know these things.
But you,
This-
but, like,
this is
you
pertinent
can,
information.
But
Yes.
I'm just telling you, you
For
can sit
alcoholics
in
like
the
myself.
theater and enjoy your beverage and watch our show. So that's something. I don't know the prices of the beverages. I don't get any money from the
I hear $5.
beverages.
I hear $5.
I don't
$5.
care.
Is that correct?
Probably.
$5, that's not too bad.
Probably.
I'll
it's
play.
cheaper
I'll
than a
play
Suns
that game.
Like, have you ever gone to like any kind of the Center for the Arts, some boring play or some orchestra?
Disney on Ice. Does that
Yeah.
count?
Well,
I think
that
that's
was
like
at the
Gamage.
stadium.
I think it was like Gamage.
No, they don't put ice on the Gamage.
I don't
That's
know.
Crazy.
I was a little fella.
Yeah, it's not Gamage.
I don't know. Now, do you strive for
Frank
Gamage
Lloyd
one
Wright
day?
would never allow that to happen.
He'd roll over in his grave.
Yeah, he would. He would never.
Is he
allow
dead?
that.
I don't know if he's
Yes,
dead.
he's
dead? I don't know.
he's very dead.
Is he that old? I don't know.
Like,
My
his
history is
kids are
very
dead,
spotty.
man.
I was asleep most of history class.
Hey, shut up.
Let's not talk about boring old people. who
No,
are dead.
not at all.
Let's talk about me. I'm alive. I'm in Tempe, Arizona at the Laborliss party.
Indeed.
Yes, you are.
With cans. He's got cans on his
Cans
head.
on.
He's on an official sounding radio show.
So speaking of Laborliss,
Yes,
that's what we're here for.
Let's go back to
we're
that.
here for the
Enough
book.
about my bullshit.
Now, so obviously Brandon said it. You were basically his kick in the ass.
I guess, yeah. I mean, everybody needs that. Everybody has it. I was glad to do it.
Now, what was your? Because you obviously started writing some issues on that. Now, did you have any original characters that you brought to the table?
Not maybe at the beginning when he wasn't very focused on like just characters. It was just kind of like a newsletter at the beginning where we just write news stories. So I guess
Right.
back then I would kind of create some just like one-time characters, like movie reviews, like a movie reviewer who like thinks he's better than making that stuff. Just like just stupid stuff like that. But like I said, when he started actually like working in all these characters that he previously developed, it became a lot easier just for me to step in and be like, oh, I'd love to write that for Larry Chovica. I could finally think of ideas.
Right.
Because I mean, some of his stuff, if you've read it, I mean, it's out there stuff. I mean, it's really high up there. I mean,
I hear that he made a guest appearance here tonight.
who? Oh, Chovica?
yeah.
Yes, he is. He is over there. He's
I hear
fantastic.
he's hobnobbing and rubbing elbows with all the lovely guests here
It is
tonight.
scarf weather, and he is wearing a scarf. It's Arizona at 70 degrees. It's scarf weather.
Oh, it absolutely is scarf.
Bust
weather.
out your
wish I had a
beanies,
scarf.
guys. Get your beanies out.
It's hoodie weather.
Oh, dude, it totally is. I'm wearing a jacket that is 2 sizes too small for me right now because
Looks good. Looks good
I
to me.
am
Looks good to me.
I am way too cold right now because it is below 83.
But that is this is the only state where you can say, "Hey, it's hoodie weather," and people, "Oh yeah, it is."
Yeah, yeah.
They understand what that means. You say that to anybody else, "Oh, it's hoodie weather." What the f does that mean?
fuck is that?
I wear that every day inside.
It's 70 degrees outside. It's time to put on a little bit of protective clothing.
So you obviously came in and there was a bunch of kind of pre-established characters already, but I hear tell might have brought a couple more to the table here. What characters did you bring to the magazine?
Didn't you guys just ask me that question?
Did he?
I asked. Oh no, it's okay.
No, I was just saying, what was your, I guess, favorite, more or less, character of that you created yourself, your actual person?
Oh, that you.
I'm trying to think back.
Sorry, I guess I didn't hear
No,
that.
it's okay. No, it's fine.
He does that. It's the wheelchair.
I'm just trying to think back at some of
Affects
this.
my hearing.
Some of this stuff you just spit out and write. Like that's what I like about deadlines, because you actually have to get stuff done.
Now,
So
what's that like? I mean, I have deadlines at work, but if they're met or not, it's no big deal. But I mean, this was put out at a specific time.
yeah, well, that was
every
all him,
month.
man. I didn't really have like he would.
Was he a dick? To be honest,
No.
Be honest with me. Was Brandon a dick?
No, never. I mean, he took the whole thing. Like that's what I admire so much about him. He took the whole thing like on his back. It was like, well, like it doesn't matter. Like I'll get what I can get from you, and I'm doing this. I'm taking this myself. And I'm gonna do it myself. I mean, he would drive all around town just putting stuff in boxes and his stands just all around town. I mean, every month he would do that. It's nuts. It's crazy.
Were you saying you're crazy? You're
Yeah.
giving this away for free. You're spending. I mean, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
At least a full-time job's worth of time and
yeah,
effort
yeah.
between everybody in putting this together.
well, mostly him, man.
And
Tony
he's
too.
just,
Tony
and he's just putting this out for free. It's like, what the F are you
Yeah.
doing, man?
Well, I mean, it's an investment, you know. I mean, that's how you see it. That's how you justify it at the beginning, you know. I mean, if you're crazy enough to do it, you just got to go do it, you know. Like I said, you make that deadline and you meet that deadline, you know.
But just as being a creative person yourself, because I have zero creative talent
You guys seem
whatsoever.
pretty creative to me.
No, this is just complete asinine bullshit. But being a creative person and actually seeing your work out there, I mean, even though you're giving it away for free, you would drive down the street, see a newsstand, and go, hey, my work, my creative writing is in that. And
It's on the
somebody,
streets.
homeless person or not, is
yeah.
reading this
That's-
and enjoying it.
That's what I often say. It's like, oh, was I part of a hobo mattress, or were people actually appreciating this? I don't know. I don't know.
Christ.
Either one, I think I'd be pretty happy about. Anything to keep the homeless comfortable at night.
Yeah, well, I mean, the amazing thing is you made 36 issues to
Oh
make
no,
them.
no, I didn't not. That was all Brandon, man.
Well,
I
I'll tell you
I
what,
wasn't in every issue. I didn't write for every issue either. I mean, a lot
Well,
of that was
from
Brandon.
what it sounds like, though, I mean, you kind of jumped in, around kind of, issue 3. I
Yeah,
wanna
like
say.
2 or 3. Yeah, I guess so. I guess he put out 1 or 2. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when you jumped in at that point, I mean, did you think that it would get all the way up to 36 issues?
Oh man, I don't know. It was just one of those things where it was just an interesting thing, and I know Brandon. I mean, the minute I met him, I was creating with him and watching him create. That's all we ever really did together. So I mean, when I see something that I even see like, oh wow, I think this is interesting, you know?
Right,
I think
right.
that you should do this, and I mean. He was writing all those stories every night. He was developing this universe already, and like, oh, you just applied this universe you've already put all this work into, you know, and now it's here in a different kind of vehicle. And yeah, I mean, he kept it going. I mean, I never imagined it like when Tony was brought on and like all the illustrations. It totally just went to life, you know.
Right.
Because before it was just kind of him putting it together, and we had another illustrator before who was good in his own ways of like kind of basic illustrations, but then when Tony came in, it was like, oh wow, this is something to look at now.
Right,
This isn't just a
absolutely.
comic strip. This is like, oh okay, these are illustrations.
We now have a world.
Yeah, we have a universe here.
Now, how many times during the creative process of writing Laborliss, you have a 12-pack, 30-pack?
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, sure.
You know, those.
Here we go.
What was the
Maybe an 8-ball.
An 8-ball, maybe, possibly. You know.
No, I don't go any harder.
None of that.
I don't go any harder than that.
But
My grandma might be listening to this live right now.
what were those creative meetings like? Those nights when you gathered around his futon couch in his
Yeah.
studio apartment. Like, what was the craziest thing that you guys just happened to do, to come up with?
Well, like I said, Brandon is a very, very creative individual.
I can imagine.
I remember, we did have some writing sessions together, but I mean, a lot of the times it was like, hey, he would just kind of let me know before, like, hey, I need an article kind of about this, or like, hey, do you want to do something with Chovikov for the next issue? I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can get it done. When do you need it done by? And then, just some night I would just stay up and, not drink, but do other things, like, not 8 balls, like in between drinking and 8 balls.
I see.
You guys
I
understand
see.
where I'm going?
Absolutely.
I think I might.
I'm talking about acid.
Oh, okay.
No,
Ah,
I'm
acid,
not.
okay.
I'm
That's
not.
definitely the in between.
No, Mom, I never
That's
touched acid.
definitely
Mom, I
the
never
in-between.
did. I've never done that. That's too scary. Anything done in like a lab is too scary.
Now, when you guys were
Come on, it is Arizona.
Yeah.
It's Phoenix.
But no, let me just. I just want to say another thing. Just shows how creative Brandon is. How he's like his wheels are just always turning. I remember just one time he called me kind of late at night, because he has kind of weird hours anyway. But he called me late and he was like, "Man, I got this idea," and I was like, "All right, what?" And he's like, "Soap."
Soap.
I'm like, "What?" And he goes,
What is this, Fight
and he's
Club?
like,
Yeah, Fight
he's like, no. He's like, "Make your own
Snaps.
soap.
Snaps
Make
for
your
you,
own
Diaz.
soap. Make your own soap kits. People can make their own soap."
What?
And I
Out of
was like,
what?
I guess he wanted to put together a kit, to make soap.
We're gonna
But
take a
that-
bunch
that
of.
just
We're just gonna get a bunch of
fats.
bubbles, and we're gonna put them together until they
that's just-
solidify
that just
into
shows-
a soap
This guy's
bar.
this
I
guy's
should
juices.
be here to
this
defend
guy's,
myself.
No, shush,
I
I'm
never
about
made
to
soap.
shut.
There's more than one microphone, Brandon.
I was
It's
about
all
to
good.
finish it.
Brandon, there
I
are
was
other
about to
microphones. Hold on, we hold on.
Turn it up, shampoo. Come on.
He wanted to do that rock and roll style.
Get on the ball,
we're
shampoo.
back to back. No, but I was about to say that just shows that Brandon's creative juices are just like always flowing, even if like the idea can be kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Now, were you ever
and
all right?
bullshit?
Because like you just said, Brandon has the most obscure, terrible hours in the world.
Right.
Were there
Well,
any
no,
points
now
that
he's
were
better with his real job and everything.
were you asleep at any point? Were you just like dreaming, deep sleep, and he'd call you up and give you this idea, and you're like, "What the hell are you doing? I'm sleeping. Shut the
No,
F
no,
up."
he's pretty respectful. Like when I say call me late, it was just kind of like probably like 11. Like when are you calling?
That's
me?
late.
Like, is everything okay? That's just one of
Is
those. Like,
everything okay?
yeah, like, do you need help?
Are you dead?
You
Are
know?
you on the side of the road, like in a ditch?
Where do we need to hide the body?
No, soap, man. Soap.
Soap. Make your own soap.
now
He didn't do it.
having just an oddball idea like that, I've got to ask, as far as the writing content of this is concerned, what's like the most oddball like situation that you interwove into Laborliss? Like, well, what's like the most
Situation.
bizarre thing you think that you reached out there and just captured?
Putting a Diaz
Really-
show ad in there.
Really early on, we had this really crazy idea of these just like really strange welcome mats. And like
Okay.
Laborliss had this like welcome mat like
Right on,
festival
right on.
or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like we just came up with these like bizarre ass, just like this would not be a good welcome mat. Like one was like this woman like I guess she looked kind of naked, but you didn't see anything. But like she had like eyes in the back of her head, and it's just, I forget what it said. It was like I'm watching you or something like that. Like weird, really weird welcome mats. Yeah, Brandon, do you remember any more of the welcome mats?
Welcome mat sounds.
What other?
That's the
what
last
other
thing I
wel-
would ever
Baby is
think
the
about.
boss.
Oh, baby is the boss.
boss.
Yeah, it was a
And-
baby drawn like the boss at an office, and it said "Baby's the boss."
Oh
no,
snap!
hold on,
Larry
hold on,
just
let
took a
me-
spill over there.
Let me sum this
Are
up.
you okay, sir?
Larry,
Larry, are you okay?
Larry's
Larry's
had a long day.
Oh, there
We
it
would
is.
go
Scarf
to
is weighing
Ryan
him down.
Gaumant's room, and Ryan Gaumant's room in 2007 was set up like it was like meant for writers because there was like a small chase lounge that fit 2 people, and then in front of that there was Ryan's like desk, and he had his laptop, and we would just like toss ideas back and forth and hang out all hours of the night, and those were just some of the ideas that came, but that's how it went a lot of times back then.
No, Brandon, you're here. Stay here for a 2nd. Sit down. Take a seat.
Yeah, okay, let's sit
You
down.
might want to sit down for this.
Let's just sit down.
Now, Ryan, I want to ask you. I want to ask everybody who was a part of Laborliss themselves. What was the reaction like when you heard the news that Brandon wanted to end Laborliss? That he wanted to, because I mean, reading the intros, I did see here that were you part of telling Brandon, hey, I think this would be a cool idea if you made intros
Oh yeah.
for when you made
That
the
was
book
all me.
to make intros.
That's all me.
It's
dude.
all
No,
you.
it was Mother's Day this year in 2012, and he called me, and it was like, hi, and he's like, you got to make intros. You got to make intros. And
It's a great idea.
yeah, and I didn't want to. And
Well, I just felt he had to sell his story because like a lot of people probably didn't understand or like have read Laborliss, so it would be an introduction anyway. Like how often are you introduced to something by an anthology? You know?
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's just one of
true.
those things like it's got to be your story of doing this too. Like that has to be in addition to.
But that was
the
after the foreword came out. You had read the foreword, and I think that was
Yeah,
prompted you to
yeah.
call me and say, you got to make intros. You have to make intros.
But what was Ryan? What was your reaction though when Brandon?
Oh, yeah, when he wanted to-
when he
when he
wrote
stopped
that
it?
last issue, and I know knowing he wasn't knowing that was going to be his last issue, but when he wrote it, after he wrote it,
Well-
and he said, you know what, I'm done. Like, what was your reaction when he finally broke the news to you guys and said, I'm finished?
I think his relationship with Laborliss, especially towards the end, was a lot like any relationship you could have with a significant other, where like I think we're gonna break up. But then no, he did another issue. He did another issue. You know, it was just like I think I'm gonna stop, or like he would stop certain things. Like, all right, I'm just going online now. Like, I'm just stopping that. So I mean, it kind of went in stages. Because like I said, he put the whole thing on his back. It was like it was physical labor to put out Laborliss. It was like not only did he have to write it all usually. He also like put it literally on his back and went out into the streets and placed it there.
So you weren't surprised? Because, I mean, like you just said, towards the end, every issue was the end. But then he put on another one. He put on another one.
Yeah.
So when he finally said, "This is it," you weren't really. Were you sad? I mean,
I was
did
sad,
you,
but it was
want
just
to
like,
continue it?
I want my friend to be sane. I want my friend to have a life. I want my friend to enjoy, have some kind of quality of life. So it was one of those things where like, yeah, dude, take a breather, man. Like he was going like all cylinders the whole time. Yeah.
I actually remember
We got a lot
that
of
email
wind.
that I wrote. It was early April 2010. And it's actually like an
2010.
impromptu thing because we had met with Matt Stone, Danny, and Jenna, who was all part of it at that time. We had met at Applebee's, and we were talking about ideas to bring it together, to keep it going. And then like something just broke inside of me, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm done. I'm really done." And I sent that email to everybody, and no one was pissed. No, everyone was happy. Everyone was like, "Hey, congratulations, you did your thing for as long as you could. We're not mad at you. You did it. Congratulations. Take a breather."
Now, Ryan, what was your reaction when Brandon finally said, "You know what? I'm not fully done. I want to put a book together. I want to take every issue that we have done together, combine them into a book, and release that."
It made sense. It made sense to me. Like the article, said. I mean, he needed to have closure on it because he stopped it, but it was just kind of like it was still lingering. He was hollow after it was done. He was just like, what do I put all my extra time in? Like, do I have a social life now?
Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't really.
Well, like Brandon said, when you were interviewed by the College Times, which is our local, college newspaper magazine,
Front page ad.
Front page ad.
Yep. Yeah, we did.
Heyo.
We got it on the front
Not
page.
too shabby.
Yeah.
You even said that the very last sentence that you wrote in the book, you were kind of doing like a blogish type of entry, and then you said, you know what, I'll fucking finish this later.
Yeah, that's funny. I think Ryan pointed that out, or Mike did. That the
I haven't
last
read the rest.
article, the last sentence in the last issue said,
Oh, I said
"I'll
that.
finish this later."
Yeah, I know. I said that. I saw that. I saw that.
I think you saw that.
Yeah.
And then in the last intro, issue to 36, I said, "You know what? I wrote that, and I just finished it." So there it is.
Wow, that's funny.
No, I mean,
Funny world we live in, guys.
So working together though. You guys were happy.
Oh,
Any
yeah,
any
things are
lovers
great.
quarrels?
No, we never
No,
really fought. We're not.
we
never
have a
fight.
great relationship.
We're the trust tree now.
Yeah, well, the good thing about me and
nest.
Brandon's
There's a nest here,
relationship,
too.
the good thing about me and Brandon's relationship is we don't need to talk every day. We don't.
Right. I love that.
Like, I really like that. It's like a no pressure kind of friendship. It's like I know he's there, and like I don't really go
Yes.
long without talking to him.
Yes.
We talk somehow, but like we. don't-
Right.
It's not like a.
You know what's funny from the Laborliss period is like there were always people around, but the people who I wanted to be around are here tonight, and the people who I wanted to be around are going to be with me in the future. And
That's all that matters.
exactly, and it's not the largest group of people, but it's the people that mattered, and they're still with me.
It's
So-
quality over quantity, guys.
And the good thing is,
Quality!
if you ever need a microphone, the Diaz Show is on your back for that one. You got it, brother.
No, absolutely.
Brandon Mullan is no stranger to a microphone.
If you ever want to revamp anything or start a new project, we are
Yeah, this is just the beginning.
Yeah,
we're
that-
more than happy to be.
And that's
Oh,
another
absolutely.
thing. I mean, you two are obviously, creative geniuses coming together. Your minds are just melting to make this wonderful product.
You haven't known me
What-
very long, and you made that
Yeah,
conclusion, and I appreciate that.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
thank
written
you.
all over yourselves.
Thank
here.
you.
I mean,
Shampoo's a good judge of
so,
people.
so like,
I wish more women.
It's
thought
the
like
facial hair.
is there some other juices, working together towards, other creative processes? Maybe are the gears turning?
Well, we certainly consult each other on things.
Yeah,
I come to him
yeah.
about stuff with like the sketch comedy and stuff like that. I mean, he always has good business. He's a much better business mind than I'll ever be. I kind of suck at the paperwork stuff, and he can actually manage it somehow.
But we're not afraid to be honest with each other, and we do critique each other, and we go to each other for advice. There for a while, we were just hanging out every Saturday night, just throwing the tennis ball at the wall and abusing substances and just being like, hey.
I was treating them very nicely. I was treating them very, very nicely.
And we would just toss stuff around. So
No, and then that's the perfect working relationship that you want. You want to be partnered up with somebody
Yeah.
who's not going to get mad if you do critique them in possibly a negative way. They take it as a positive thing.
More people here. I gotta.
You have to work in a culture of feedback.
Yeah, I mean, but you need to be in a situation where you're comfortable and that,
Oh, absolutely,
you know,
of course.
Because like not every idea is a good idea. And
Oh, believe me, I know a lot of that.
But Laborliss was a good idea.
Laborliss was a good
looks like
idea.
it. Sounds like it to me.
The Diaz Show, well,
Diaz
I don't
Show.
know. That's still up in the air about whether that was a good idea or not.
What are you talking about? How long have you been doing this?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
I don't
we've been
think that's a
going at
bad
this.
idea then.
I don't know.
Clearly you're committed, which means it's a good thing.
No, absolutely. I can't disagree with you on that because there's not. You know what? In all reality, I don't think there's been one point where we said, "Should we continue?" I think.
No, we've always been adamant about doing it.
In those
You
moments,
just gotta put your head down and just go forward.
absolutely.
Man.
In those moments of that downtime, instead of saying, "Should we stop?"
Yeah.
The only thing we did was we came up with ways to continue,
Exactly.
ways to make it better.
And you know what the best feeling is when you look up and go like, oh shit, I just did all that, like for like a year, for 3 years. I just didn't even look back. I just did it. Like, okay, that's good. That's the way you gotta treat things.
Absolutely.
Word.
Amen. You know what else is a good idea? Dancing.
And Bully Mammoth, December 7th at the Tempe Center for the Arts.
That is a
Go.
great idea. Yay, Bully Mammoth.
Get drunk. Go
Thanks,
watch
guys.
some
Thanks,
comedy
guys.
shows.
Damn, Skippy.
You guys are good.
So thank you.
Thanks for the cans.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ryan, for coming on and chatting with us. So we're going to dance it up here for a little bit. Get the music going. That's right. Oh, wow.
Another round of
They're
applause
really
for
happy that we're
Laborliss.
done talking. Thank you.
That's why we're all here. Brandon.
All right, everybody. Since everybody's that happy that we're done talking, get out here and dance. Let's go. Crank it up, Shampoo Master.